the unjust detention of neurodiverse individuals. A call for reformation. In today's society, where conversations around mental health and neurodiversity are becoming progressively nuanced, it's particularly alarming that an archaic legal framework continues to govern the involuntary detention or sectioning of individuals with conditions such as Asperger's syndrome. This practice, anchored in outdated laws that are often more than 4 decades old, egregiously neglects the complexity and humanity of neurodiverse individuals, and this article aims to shed light on its glaring imperfections. A system in dire need of evolution. First and foremost, the existing system for sectioning operates under the assumption that neurodiverse individuals pose a risk to themselves or society. This line of thinking is fundamentally flawed and grossly oversimplifies the nuanced experiences and capabilities of those with Asperger's syndrome or other forms of autism. In essence, the system is predicated on a myopic and distorted view of mental health, and this narrow vision is causing irreparable damage to countless lives. Consequences of a broken mechanism. Imagine, if you will, the unquantifiable psychological toll of being detained involuntarily for years on end, sequestered away from the comforting arms of familiarity and predictability. The current paradigm perpetuates a vicious cycle where the very conditions meant to offer support, such as psychiatric hospitals, do the complete opposite. They exacerbate the more challenging aspects of autism, engendering a constant state of distress for the individual. Financial costs versus human costs. Often, the argument for these detentions orbits around the notion of providing treatment, albeit in a manner more befitting a past era than our current understanding of mental health. These detentions are outrageously expensive for the taxpayer and less effective than community-based support, like occupational therapy or speech and language assistance. In stark contrast, the financial burden of appropriate community care pales compared to the astronomical economic and emotional costs associated with long-term detention. The moral imperative. It's time to reframe our collective perspective on neurodiversity and act upon the moral imperative to treat all individuals, regardless of their neurological makeup, with dignity, respect, and empathy. We must rally behind those advocating for change, from political figures to activists, as their voices echo the sentiments of a society growing increasingly uneasy with the barbaric and antiquated practices that persist. A plea for change. The hour for comprehensive reform is upon us. The current system is indefensible on both moral and practical grounds. With an ever-increasing body of knowledge and an evolving societal ethos that is more inclusive than ever, there is no excuse to cling to regressive policies that propagate suffering and marginalization. It's high time to replace punitive measures with community-based care, guided by a deep understanding of the unique challenges and strengths that neurodiverse individuals bring to the rich tapestry of human experience. As a member of the neurodiverse community, I firmly believe that this issue goes beyond legislative reform. It's a question of fundamental human rights. It's high time we break down physical and symbolic barriers that have restricted us for far too long. Only then can we construct a society that genuinely values each individual's inherent worth and dignity.